Have you ever noticed that your body doesn't recover the same way it used to? I'm guessing you still push yourself hard, you're still working out hard, and you're eating as healthy as you can, but now your legs feel heavy, your sleep isn't quite as good as it used to be, your muscles stay sore longer, your energy crashes harder, and workouts feel more draining than they do energizing. And maybe what's most frustrating is that you're doing many of the things that you used to do and they used to work for you. If that sounds familiar, this video is for you. And I gotta say, this video is for me, as a lot of what I'm gonna talk about today, I have gone through and am still going through personally as I adapt to my aging body and being an aging athlete and a postmenopausal woman. So today I want to talk to you why women over 40, and sometimes it doesn't happen till over 50, why they often stop recovering efficiently, and why this is not simply about aging, motivation, or needing more discipline. Hi, I'm Dr. Jodi Medell. I'm the founder of the Healing Continuum and the Healing Continuum method. I'm a doctor of physical therapy. I'm also an integrative health and functional medicine practitioner. And I really enjoy working with women to understand the deeper physiology behind why their bodies no longer respond the way they used to. And on this channel, we explore that intersection of physiology, structure, and nervous system regulation. Because healing is never just about the physical or the hormonal or the emotional. It's everything combined. Everything is interconnected. So why is it that recovery is where the healing happens? And it's not so much about the workout. One of the biggest misconceptions in our culture is that fitness creates health. Now think about that. We've been indoctrined to believe that fitness creates health. But the truth is, exercise is a stressor. And typically the body responds and adapts to stress, but an overwhelmed body struggles to recover from stress. And recovery is where healing and adaptation actually happens. This means that during recovery, the muscles repair, the hormones regulate, the nervous system gets restored, the mitochondria recover, and the immune system is regulated. Again, this all happens during recovery, not during the workout. So why does this change after 40? As women move through perimenopause, menopause, postmenopause, several major physiological shifts happen at the same time, or pretty close together. The hormones begin to fluctuate and decline. Muscle mass naturally decreases. Sleep often becomes disrupted. Stress resilience changes. The inflammatory signaling increases, and mitochondrial efficiency can decline. And if the body becomes less tolerant of chronic overload, then symptoms will occur. And if a woman has spent many years overfunctioning, under-recovering, overtraining, under-fueling, and living in chronic stress physiology, the body eventually begins to lose its ability to adapt. That adaptive capacity is decreased. So where does the mitochondria fit into all of this? This is one of the most overlooked aspects of recovery, and that's mitochondrial health. Mitochondria are essentially the energy-producing structures inside of your cell, the little powerhouses. They help generate the energy needed for muscle recovery, brain function, hormone production, healing, metabolism, and resilience. But mitochondria are extremely sensitive to chronic stress. So over time, if one has poor sleep, chronic cortisol elevation, blood sugar instability, inflammation, environmental toxins, emotional stress, underfueling, and excessive training load without recovery, all that can impair the mitochondrial efficiency. And when that happens, women often start to note or say things like, I just don't bounce back anymore. I feel depleted all the time. And my workouts, they drain me instead of energize and invigorate me like they used to. And I want you to know that this is not laziness. It's simply impaired recovery physiology. So this is where the nervous system also becomes incredibly important. Many high-functioning women are unknowingly living in chronic sympathetic dominance, what we commonly call fight or flight, and others say fight, flight, fawn, freeze response. This, I want to point out a little bit more details on this fight or flight chronic sympathetic dominance. Many driven women don't even realize that they're living their lives in chronic sympathetic dominance because it feels so natural. It's just their way of being. And so a lot of this recovery and what I'm getting into with what our bodies need as we age doesn't even fit into the picture of one who is living their life in this sympathetic dominance. Because you're used to, me included, pushing, producing, multitasking, caregiving, overtraining, overriding fatigue, mind over mattering everything, and ignoring recovery signals. And we've gotten away with it for years. I'm including me in this. So many hard-driven, great athletic women have been able to get away with this for many years because the body can compensate. But eventually, the nervous system begins losing its flexibility. And so what this means is that the body feels unsafe. You may not recognize it, that you may not feel unsafe in your body, but your nervous system truly picks up on that chronic overdrive, that chronic sympathetic dominance as being an unsafe environment. And so when the body no longer feels safe enough to recover deeply, the symptoms begin appearing. And that's when you start to notice poor sleep, chronic muscle tension, anxiety, fatigue, slower healing time, hormone dysregulation, digestive changes, increased inflammation. This is where the body starts to prioritize survival, because it really does feel like it's in survival mode, over restoration. So this combination of overtraining and underfueling is also something that I see in very driven women, especially as the body isn't responding as it used to. We're just gonna push harder, work harder, right? So one of the most common patterns I do see in active midlife women is this combination of overtraining and underfueling. Many women are still exercising intensely, and they're not adequately supporting their recovery from the intense activity. Some are under-eating protein, restricting calories, avoiding carbohydrates excessively, not sleeping enough, not taking recovery days, that's huge, not to take a recovery day, and using, this one I relate to very well, using exercise as stress release or a stress relief while simultaneously increasing the physiological stress on the body. So eventually, the body begins perceiving exercise not as healthy, not as invigorating, but as another threat rather than an adaptation signal. This is especially common in women who are very driven, disciplined, and used to pushing through discomfort. So there's also an oxidative stress tie-in here as well, and I have a video that I talked about oxidative stress. Oxidative stress occurs when the body is producing more cellular stress than it can adequately repair or neutralize. Exercise itself creates oxidative stress, which is normal and healthy and appropriate in the right amounts. But when the recovery capacity decreases, the body can accumulate more oxidative load than it can efficiently repair. So this is what contributes to inflammation, fatigue, slower recovery, accelerated aging, or the feeling of being older, hormone disruption, and tissue breakdown. The goal is not to eliminate stress, not entirely. The goal is to increase the body's ability to adapt and recover from the stress. So what is it that the body actually needs? Sometimes women think that they need more discipline, harder workouts, a stricter diet, more supplements, right? But what the body is really asking for is better nourishment, deeper sleep, nervous system regulation, more recovery, blood sugar stability, muscle support, emotional safety, and less overall physiological load. Sometimes healing begins not by pushing harder, but by learning how to support the body differently, by loving on the body and giving it that space to regenerate, to restore. So if your body feels like it's changing, if you no longer recover the way you used to, and workouts leave you exhausted versus invigorated, please know your body is not betraying you. It's communicating with you. Often these changes are signs that the body's adaptive capacity is becoming simply overwhelmed. Not that you are weak, not that you are failing. Understanding that, I believe, changes everything. If we can really tune in, listen in, honor what the body is sharing with us, instead of jumping to judgment on ourselves and criticizing ourselves for those changes, then we can begin the healing process. So if this video resonated with you, I'd love for you to subscribe to the channel. I release new videos weekly, and they're pretty much focused on midlife physiology, nervous system healing, hormones recovery, and the Healing Continuum method, that approach to healing. And I also will eventually dive into just the aging athlete in general, because that's where I am, that's what I'm going through, and anything I can learn about what it means to be an aging athlete, I want to share with you. And if you know another woman who feels frustrated that her body is no longer responding the way it used to, please share this video with her. Thanks so much for being here, and I'll see you in the next video.